I talk about a lot of worthless nonsense that I just find goofy and entertaining, but what I'm about to talk about today, what I'm about to start yapping and blabbering on about, has to be a new gold standard for the most trivial. This is more meaningless than a filler arc in Naruto, yet I can't help but care about it. Like, my voice is cracking because I'm almost embarrassed that I actually care. I read about this, like, right before leaving the gym, and for some reason I thought about it the entire drive home. So I got home, put my Skechers down because I'm one of the few people under the age of 60 and over the age of 9 that wear Skechers, and I just marched up here and I'm like, you know what? I need to talk about it. So it's about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm sure all of you know that name. He's one of the biggest celebrities in America. I don't think you could find a place in this nation that hasn't at least heard of The Rock. Yeah, fucking Narnia probably knows about this guy. He is huge. And he recently posted an Instagram video that seemed innocent enough on the surface, but if you dive a bit deeper, it actually gets quite nefarious. It's about his supposedly first time trying In-N-Out. In-N-Out is a fast food chain. I'm sure a lot of you know that. It has like a cult-like following. People love In-N-Out. They fight tooth and nail for the honor of In-N-Out. Like, when I've tried it and I thought it was fine. I didn't think it like changed my life or anything. It didn't make me more attractive or taller. It wasn't a game changer, but it was fine food. But some people go crazy for it. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson apparently just tried it for the first time. Let's see what that looks like. I don't want to let the audio play because it's just DMCA music, and basically the whole video is him going to In-N-Out drive-thru and people just going crazy to see The Rock. This is supposed to be his cheat meal with In-N-Out, and it's his first time ever trying it. He's gonna see what all the hype's about. But basically the whole video kind of plays out like autofellatio. It's The Rock just sucking his own dick, like, hey, you just call me handsome? I don't speak Spanish. Is that what you said to me? That kind of thing. And then he makes his order here, he gets like his big meal. It's just complete throwaway garbage here. There's more empty calories in this video than there is in the french fries that The Rock is buying here. The video is honestly less about In-N-Out and more about just The Rock being famous. Like, this whole video is just The Rock showcasing he's famous and filming people's reaction to them seeing him in all of his benevolent glory. He is an angel, and he is blessing them with his presence. He couldn't even be bothered to do the bare minimum of eating the meal on camera, so we were denied a Rock mukbang. What a shame. But here's his caption: "My first ever In-N-Out burger experience. Rolled up in my pickup and tried to be cool AF with my order." And then emojis for car and sunglasses. God. But I didn't know the lingo. Didn't know who to pay, where to pay. I didn't know shit. What do you mean you didn't know the lingo? You just place an order. I don't know why he's pretending. You know, it's not like this is complicated jargon. But I'm a quick study. Loved everyone's positive vibes in there. Holy shit, it's The Rock energy. God, he just can't. No one has The Rock's dick in his mouth more than he does. Like, good God. Goodness gracious. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? It's his own wiener. Oh my lord. His favorite meal. Love the grub, and love how everyone in the drive-thru looked at me like I have 3 heads when I gave them a tip. Thank you, In-N-Out, for being awesome. I'll see you down the road. So it clearly reads like it's supposed to be some kind of promotional thing for In-N-Out here. And it's all just standard celebrity trash, but this is the 3rd time he's done it. He keeps pretending that he's trying In-N-Out for the first time every couple of years. Why? Why are you lying about that? You could just say, like, I love In-N-Out, so I'm going back to In-N-Out. Let's go. Can't wait for more In-N-Out. Why does it always have to be your first time? We know it's not. So there was 2 articles written about this, like, why does The Rock keep lying about it? And I have no fucking idea. Why would you just keep lying about it being your first time going to In-N-Out? The other 2 videos are still on your Instagram page. It makes no sense to me. It's like the weakest lie ever. I remember when I was a child, I used to do lies like this for April Fool's Day, where I would tell my friends that the Buccaneers quarterback Brad Johnson was retiring, and they'd be like, is he really? And I go, nope, I gotcha. It's like, what? Why are you even lying about that? It's so lame.
Is history in the making. It is Sunday night, approximately 11 p.m. It is Cheat Meal Sunday for all of us around the world, certainly for me here. And the reason why this is history in the making is because this is the very first time that I have ever tried an In-N-Out burger, or In-N-Out fries, or anything from In-N-Out for that matter. Now, I've picked up some In-N-Out burger before through the drive-thru a few times for some buddies of mine. I've never tried it, so this is a first.
That's such a convenient excuse. I've been through the drive-thru, but I've never actually eaten it. I've only ever picked it up for other people. That's like the timeless classic of, oh no, those aren't my drugs. I was actually just holding them for a friend. Now, he has a post from 2017, once again, through the In-N-Out drive-thru, but he doesn't have any evidence of him eating the meal, so I guess I can't say beyond a shadow of a doubt if he tried the In-N-Out meal when he bought it for the people in his vehicle. I would wager a guess that he has, because he keeps pretending like he doesn't even know what the fuck In-N-Out is, practically. He doesn't know how to go through the drive-thru or how to pay, according to his most recent Instagram post. So I don't know if the Men in Black keep coming around and neuralizing him every time he eats In-N-Out so he forgets entirely, or if this is just the weirdest marketing idea ever. I don't really get it. But I have said for about 5 or 6 years now that The Rock is the fakest celebrity in Hollywood. I truly believe that. I grew up a huge fan of The Rock. In the WWE, he was probably one of my favorites. Not up there with Kane, but pretty close. He cut the best promos. And to this day, if I had a nickel for every single time I said, "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" or if I imitated the people's elbow, man, shit, I'd be able to own In-N-Out by now. Like, he had a big impact on my childhood, but as he made it more into the mainstream consciousness, and as his fame grew, I feel like his soul kept getting chipped away at, whittled away, and now he's just this husk, this hollow shell that PR firms speak through. Like, every time he tries to vocalize something that's supposed to resemble his own thought or opinion, it feels like the most PR speak shit ever. Like, all of these PR suits are just using him like a fucking fleshlight, like this puppet, a ventriloquism act, where they are talking through The Rock. What really cemented that for me was when he went on Joe Rogan recently. I haven't listened to Rogan in quite a long time, but when The Rock was on, I was very interested to see if he would finally come out of his shell here and actually speak his mind. And he barely spoke at all. The whole episode was mainly crickets. Like, he barely engaged with anything because it seems like The Rock only vocalizes what his team allows him to. Like, it has to be the most filtered responses and statements imaginable. He's just so fucking fake, and this In-N-Out madness was just a cherry on top of it. Another thing, I'm getting way off topic now, but another thing with The Rock that always rubbed me the wrong way since it happened was about a year ago, he was a brief guest on Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. So he was there to promote the Black Adam trailer, but Summer Games Fest was supposed to be like a celebration of games and talking about all of that. And The Rock sent in a video that he absolutely threw together in like 30 seconds, but he couldn't even go through that video without plugging his own fucking drink. Like, come on, you're already there just to promote a movie and you're still going to promote something else as well? He only has one mode, and that's sales mode. That's it. He didn't engage with the community at all. He couldn't even pretend to care about Summer Games Fest or Jeff Keighley's production or really gaming in general. He just can't even put on a facade that he gives a fuck about anything beyond just selling himself. Like, even in this In-N-Out clip that I showed you, the second one where he pretended that he, trying it for the first time, let me show you how it actually ends. Check this out.
They're called double doubles, loaded with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, and cheese. Of course, we got fries here. Get this. The fries are good. So we're off to a good start. Now, the question becomes, I have the one and only Teremana tequila. What is going to pair best with, yeah, you know what? I'm the founder of Teremana, so fuck it. We make up the rules. So I'm going to go with Blanco and Reposado. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure this is. My very first In-N-Out burger. Ah, that is a good combo. Here we go.
Yeah, he couldn't even eat a meal without plugging his own shit. That's all he is doing anymore. He just says what his PR firm wants him to say, nothing else, never doing anything that even resembles like his actual personality or his actual thoughts. And then he is just constantly selling his own products and selling himself. That's it. Like, that is so fucking sad. So yeah, just a really weird thing here that he keeps pretending that he's never had In-N-Out. So every year or a couple of years, he'll be like, oh, I'm trying In-N-Out for the first time. In fact, I'm pretty sure he even ordered the same exact thing last week as he did in this video from 2022, the one I just showed you. I'm pretty sure he made the exact same order as well. So he's probably a regular at In-N-Out. Like, he has his order down to a science. I just don't get why he keeps pretending for that. But I'm also not surprised because he actually is just super fake across the board. So yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. A super, super meaningless topic that I just got passionate about. That's it. See ya. I have some fantastic news for all of you today. A heartwarming story, so wholesome, this kind of spirit could make the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes. Today, it was made clear to a lot of people that I was right all along. They're finding out what I've known since the beginning of time. That James Corden is an unentertaining asshole whom is an absolute detriment to everything he's in. His presence makes the media that he infests worse. He is the worst part of the movies he is in. He is this miasma of unentertainment, the antithesis of fun. And today, he has been banned from a New York restaurant because he is a massive dickhead as well. Now, as you know, I've been preaching this like the gospel for years now. He's perhaps my least favorite celebrity, and I hold a personal grudge against him because he once took down a video I made tier listing his most embarrassing moments throughout his career. The video remained on my channel for about 15 minutes before it was manually taken down by his team, and I hold him personally accountable for that sin. Now, I've never met James Corden, and I've only ever heard rumors that he's insufferable to be around and pretty mean in general. I remember there was a comedy team that played a prank on him that made him like late for work, and he came across really bad there. There's also been a lot of stories from people that have either worked for him or met him where they said he was a real asshole. But to me, the biggest crime he'd ever committed in my eyes was just being cringe. I've never disliked him because of the stories I heard about him. That was just the cherry on top of how much I dislike his presence in all of the movies and shows that he somehow infests. He's just been in so much shit and makes it even worse. So let's go over the situation here today. James Corden's just one of those people where whenever I read something like revealing more about him being an asshole, I can't help but like almost celebrate a little bit, like wiggle my finger. You know, maybe I even stand up and hit a little boogie with it. Oh, what's that, the SpongeBob? Huh? Oh, James Corden's being an asshole? Oh, you don't say. Weird. It's almost like I knew it from the get-go. Whoop, now hit him with the jerk. Now, before showing the manager reports here, I need to make it known that this has been a confirmed true story. This isn't just pulled out of someone's ass. James Corden has apologized for his actions here, and the owner of the restaurant has accepted the apology and says that he's rescinding the ban on him and he's welcome to come back. I think he should have stuck to his guns, because now the only reason he's apologizing is because of public pressure, because this became such a huge story, it went viral. It's not that James Corden is actually apologetic. He just knows that it's a PR disaster, so he's trying to save face. So here's the full statement from the owner of the restaurant. Their name is Keith McNall, and they said this about James Corden. James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian. I'm going to stop you right there, Keith. We're not even a full sentence deep, and I've just got to make a quick correction here. He's not gifted, nor would he be considered a comedian by most people. He is like the most plain, boring person you could think of, like a default character in PC. But regardless, he continues, a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. I don't often 86 a customer, but today I 86'd Corden. It did not make me laugh. That statement does make me laugh, though. That's just so blunt, calling him a cretin and then 86ing him, saying it didn't make him laugh. Here's 2 examples of the funny man's treatment of my staff. Keith is coming in here with the claws. He's fuming, and rightfully so. I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more, I'll scream it from the mountaintops. Anyone who is rude to anyone in the customer service industry, waitresses, waiters, cashiers, whatever, anyone who is a dick to them, a fucking douchebag to them, is a completely worthless piece of shit. Plain and simple. It takes a special kind of evil to mistreat someone in the service industry like that. I also haven't heard the term 86th since SpongeBob with 86 those patties, crabs. So that was kind of a cool throwback there. So let's look at manager report number 1. In June, James Corden was here on table 61. Although this is diabolical, it happens very occasionally in all restaurants. After eating his main course, Corden showed the hair to Balthazar's manager, G, who was very apologetic. Corden was extremely nasty to G and said, Get us another round of drinks this second, and also take care of all our drinks so far. This way, I write any nasty reviews in Yelp or anything like that. So this sounds like a pretty big blow up over something pretty minor. Yeah, it's yucky finding a hair in your food. It happens. Most people just suck it up and move on. But I also don't think there's any shame in being like, hey, I found this hair in here, just I was hoping I could maybe place another order or get this replaced. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Just being respectful about it because, you know, accidents happen. It's something that just unfortunately happens from time to time. I'm a legitimate hypochondriac, and even I, when I find a hair in my food, pick it out and still finish it. But I do understand why someone wouldn't. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong to be like, hey, can I, you know, maybe just place another order? I think that's fine. There's no reason to call the manager over, yell at them, and then demand another round of drinks and threaten to leave a nasty review, right? Like, I think that's blowing it way out of proportion. Now let's move on to the second manager report. James Corden was at Balthazar with his wife on October 9th for brunch. He asked for a table outside. Brunch maitre d' Ali Walters took the party to table 301. Mr. Corden's wife ordered an egg yolk omelet with Gruyere cheese and salad. A few minutes after they received the food, James called the server, MK, and told her there was a little bit of egg white mixed with the egg yolk. MK informed the floor manager, G. The kitchen remade the dish, but unfortunately sent it with home fries instead of salad. That's when James Corden began yelling like crazy to the server, "You can't do your job, you can't do your job, maybe I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelet myself." MK was very apologetic and brought G over to the table. He returned the dish, and after that, everything was fine. He gave them promo champagne glasses to smooth things out. G said that Corden was pleasant to him but nasty to the server. MK was very shaken, but professional that she is, continued to finish her shift. So this one I think is a little bit more indicative of the real personality of James Corden. If something is slightly not up to his standards, he loses his temper about it. I think that's very par for the course from all the stories I've read about him, from workers as well as people that have met him, as well as that brief segment where you can see him kind of blowing up in the comedy sketch at his expense. He just seems like the kind of person that is very entitled and feels like they're superior to just normal people around him. So in that entitlement, he fucking blows up at them. "Oh, I'll go back there and cook it then. You guys can't do your jobs. Disgusting. I spit on you fucking plebeians. This is disgraceful. You sent me a dish with house fries instead of a salad? Are you trying to kill me? This is poison." And the fact that he shamelessly has done this twice now, and this one apparently in front of his wife, blows my mind. How anyone can do this in front of other people, especially people they care about, is something that will never compute with me. How do you not get embarrassed? No, this isn't like a tough guy thing. This doesn't make you look alpha. This doesn't make you look like a strong man. This makes you look like a little bitch. You look like an absolute douchebag, weak little man. As Keith calls him, a tiny cretin of a man. Why are you getting so upset at the server who did nothing to slight you? They didn't insult you. Everything that happened wasn't on purpose. It wasn't an attack against you. Sending the dish with house fries instead of a salad is an easy solution. Just be like, oh, you know, I actually wanted the salad. And then bang, they'll go get you the salad, I imagine. They're not going to sit there and like challenge you to fisticuffs like, "I will not get you the salad, and I'm throwing the gauntlet down." Oh, put him up, Corden. Like, it's just such an easy thing to calmly handle. But I guess not for James Corden here. So these were the two manager reports. Now, of course, this isn't anything like crazy. James Corden didn't flip the table and throw water in the face of the server or anything. But even still, this kind of behavior I never have any tolerance for. There is just never an excuse to be rude, mean, nasty, yell and scream at anyone in the service industry. You know, for honest mistakes, you know, there's no excuse for it. Now, if the servers were coming up to him and slapping him around and telling him, "Hey, idiot, you're stupid, and I hate your talk show," you know, like, then maybe I'd understand him being like, "Hey, you know, that kind of hurts. I'm a little upset about that." But they're just doing their job, right? They're just doing their job and getting by. There's just never a reason to be mean to someone in the service industry. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because whenever James Corden fails and makes a fool of himself, I can't help but smile and just take it back from a distance as a spectator sport and be like, "Yep, that's James Corden for you. You guys are seeing this, right? So you know I was right." Even though I know most people agree that James Corden isn't entertaining, So it's a very cold take, but it's one that I just keep mentioning anytime that it's brought up. So really, that's about it. So yeah. I want to start this video off by celebrating something important that's a little unrelated to the overall topic of the video, but one that calls for celebration. So let's pump our fists and wiggle our fingers together as we say rest in peace to James Corden's Late Late Show. That's right, it's finally over. We've survived the bubonic plague of bad television. James Corden's show is off the air officially, and I also love that now we have like some classified documents finally releasing that confirms what we all knew. That nobody fucking watched James Corden's show. It was a colossal flop. It was losing $20 million a year apparently before they finally decided to take it behind the barn and put it down for good, just execute it. There is nobody in the world that likes James Corden. I've said it for years now. He's like one of the only unifying things our planet has to offer. We all have our differences, but somewhere embedded deep in our DNA is this common ground of disliking James Corden. And for some reason his shows existed for so fucking long now. It was always a mystery, and I thought maybe I was just boofing crazy pills and like he had huge fans, but clearly not. They were losing so much money on him, and now they finally decided to stop the bleeding. It's just such a breath of fresh air. Already the world looks more colorful and less gray now that the Late Late Show is dead and buried, just put 6 feet under in its coffin. No more carpool karaoke. I feel like the possibility for our species are limitless now. It's like in Gurren Lagann when humanity goes from living underground fucking cave-dwelling troglodytes to breaching into the surface world, and then they start evolving at a rapid rate. I feel like that's where we're at right now because carpool karaoke is no longer keeping us buried. You know, that was the single thing preventing us from reaching a Type 2 spacefaring civilization. It's so nice. Now let's get to the actual topic of today's video. Enough celebrating the end of the Late Late Show. I'm sure many of you have heard about this massive writers' strike that's going on right now, where the Writers Guild of America is protesting, so they've all stopped their work in the industry at the moment. There's a lot of reasons for it, but really the primary takeaways are they're not being fairly compensated for their work when it comes to streaming services. So right now they're paid a single fixed residual that aren't tied to viewer numbers and no additional payments that come through when the show shuffles between different streaming services. An example they give is one of the writers for Jane the Virgin is only receiving 1 to 2 cents for their residual checks, which is far from the norm or acceptable. And that's because streaming content has blown up recently, and for the industry itself, it's still pretty new. So they're not really getting the compensation that they should be, especially when compared to other aspects of the entertainment industry like normal movies or normal TV shows. So streaming is still in that weird gray area where they're getting face fucked when it comes to their compensation, and now they're protesting, looking for more appropriate compensation and fairer pay for it, which I think is totally reasonable. None of these shows happen without the writers. I understand the A-list actors and celebrities are always going to put asses in the seats and make swamp-ass thrones as people are glued to it for these characters, but those characters are written by these writers, and without them, they'd be fucking flat and worthless. The effect of writers on the actual medium is severely overlooked by just normal viewers, I feel. I've seen real brain rot takes on this from Twitter about how the writers aren't even important to the shows to begin with, which is mind-boggling that we've reached a point where there's a lot of viewers that are unable to wrap their head around the entire show they watch is constructed by these writers. Without them, it doesn't exist, it doesn't happen, and it doesn't work. So it's super weird that people are trying to belittle their role in the industry and downplay their importance, even going as far as to call this whole strike a bunch of mumbo-jumbo, hocus-pocus nonsense and that they're entitled. It's so fucked up. Like, for some reason now people are taking up arms in order to protect billionaires in their right to exploit writers like this. I think it's fucking stupid. Like, again, the writers make the shows happen. It's not like your favorite actors that are in these shows go in there and fucking improv every single one of their lines. That's just not how it works. So yeah, I do agree that the writers deserve better pay, especially because streaming has blown up so much, and yet the pay for writers hasn't grown with it. This sector has exploded. Yet for some reason the writers have been left behind when it comes to their compensation. So I think the strike is totally within their right to do. I think it's a good thing. And if you don't believe me that it's a good thing, how about I just show you some of the proof that's in the pudding right now? Get ready, because I'm about to give you a fucking enema of good news. This writer's strike has already been huge W's across the board for anybody with eyes, because since they're striking, a lot of terrible shows have had to go on hiatus, had to go dark. That includes every late night talk show, baby. Every single fucking one of these late night parasites have had to go off air because, of course, they don't write their own material. They're not like real comedians anymore. They don't make fucking jokes on their own. It's all fed to them by these writers, and now that they're striking, they have nothing. Thus, they've had to stop the programs. So no Jimmy Kimmel, no Jimmy Fallon. We're getting everything fucking purged right now and on break, and it feels so good to not have to have YouTube inundated with fucking god-awful late show talk clips. Oh my god, it feels amazing. So there's already a huge W there, already seeing some great stuff from the writer's strike, some good results. But if you want the best possible news from the writer's strike, you know what else is severely affected? Big Mouth. The worst show ever produced by human beings is currently getting hammered because of this writer's strike. It is unable to continue production as of the moment, and we can only pray, have our fingers crossed, that they will just shut down the upcoming season and call it quits. Just put the kibosh on the entire series, because Big Mouth fucking sucks. Just close your eyes and envision this utopia with me. No James Corden Late Late Show. No Big Mouth. That is a serene existence. That would actually unlock the full potential of our brains. It'd be like taking that pill from Limitless. We would fucking invent teleportation technology the next day. Now, even better news, even if Big Mouth does unfortunately continue, if we're cursed for another season of Big Mouth, it's the final season. So there won't be any after that, which, that's great news, but it's bittersweet because we could just not have that season air to begin with. So, regardless, though, Big Mouth on the horizon is soon to be finished, kaput, which is fantastic. I also forgot one other big one that's currently going dark. Another stinker. Saturday Night Live! Saturday Night Live is also affected by the writer's strike, so they're unable to currently continue as is. So just a lot of good W's all around here. Now, there is more to the purpose behind the strike. It wasn't all for the compensation. There is another component to this that I think it's worth mentioning here. They're also wanting to regulate AI when it comes to the industry. AI is also exploding, and it is evolving at an unbelievably fast rate, which is of course a legitimate concern here. AI is already fucking wild. It is frightening how good it's gotten in such a short period of time, and it's still very primitive. It is still very early on in this technology, so it's only going to get better and more refined. So what the Writers Guild is looking for here is some regulation where the AI can't be trained off of their works. Their works would be protected, so that way the AI can't be building models based around their scripts, can't be like generating scripts of their own based on their work, and also they can't really be using AI to go through and change some of their work or undermine it and shit like that. It's just looking for some level of protection for the writers. It doesn't seem like they're trying to completely outlaw it, make it illegal when it comes to AI in the writing room, or forbid it entirely, because AI can be used as a good tool for writers as well. It's just looking for some level of like regulation or just some openness to discuss how they can utilize AI in different ways there. At least that's how I understand it. I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like they're just trying to get rid of it entirely from the writing process. So yeah, overall, wishing the best for the writers here with the strike. From what I can tell, it doesn't seem like the powerful suits out there are really responding at all to it in any meaningful capacity at the moment. It seems like the attitude's kind of just rub some fucking dirt in it, get over it kind of thing. But I guess we'll see how that goes when their biggest programs start to feel the effects of the strike, because the WGA is huge. They do a lot of writing. So I guess we'll see how everything plays out, but just want to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. I recommend the Patrick CC video I made about Drake and Josh. I've actually been meaning to watch that. Thank you for reminding me. This keeps hitting my YouTube recommended, and I've really wanted to check it out. I don't know the whole history between Drake and Josh, but I think, like everyone else, I believe they were good friends off air. But it seems like that was never really the case.
While filming one of the last episodes of the season where Drake and Josh fight over a shrimp, Stephen Malaro, who was a writer on The Amanda Show, walked over to Dan and was like, "Those two guys are your buddy comedy right there."
God, Dan Schneider's such a fucking creepy guy. Good lord. I'm surprised he didn't pitch Dan on like a foot-centric TV show. What is Dan doing now? I know he's fired from Nickelodeon, but what is he currently doing? Does anyone know off the top of your head? I can look it up, but I'd rather just see chat's fan theories, I guess. Someone has to know. OnlyFans? Nah, I doubt that. Oh, maybe like subscribing to every OnlyFans ever. Possibly. Yeah, he got fired from Well, I don't even know if he got fired. He left Nickelodeon. Dan was already making a foot-centric show called iCarly. Fucking true. Running a foot massage parlor in Thailand. So no one knows what Dan Schneider's doing? I'll look it up myself, I suppose. What are you up to, Dan? Dan Schneider controversy about verbal abuse and maltreatment of young actors. This is brand new. Is he still under investigation? Oh man, anyone remember this theory? I highly doubt this was ever true. But when Zoe Spears got pregnant and had to leave Zoe 101 shortly thereafter, the rumor was that it was Dan Schneider's kid. And there's like a whole bunch of like crazy fan theories on how that was possible and why that was likely. Or Jamie Lynn Spears, sorry. Zoe 101, Jamie Lynn Spears, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Deadline reported in July 2021, an investigation by Viacom discovered that Schneider was allegedly yelling at young performers, throwing tantrums, and sending angry emails and texts to them outside of working hours. He apparently requested massages for his shoulders and neck as well from the kids. That definitely sounds like Dan Schneider. Producer tells New York Times via People that he never dealt with performers in any way, texting or otherwise, that should make anyone uncomfortable. When someone says that, that just makes me uncomfortable. That makes me think that you were doing something that would make me uncomfortable. A number of well-known performers, including some who are underage, had expressed their displeasure with the uproar surrounding the photos of their feet. I couldn't and I wouldn't have the friendships and loyalties of so many individuals of good standing, he explained. Yeah, the feet pics were really weird. Early on in Twitter's infancy, he ran this Twitter campaign to have kids send pictures of their feet. It was like an iCarly thing, but they were sending the feet pics to Dan for some reason. Dan was described by former co-workers as demanding and vindictive. In addition to interviewing Dan Schneider's producer, the New York Times spoke to people from Schneider's history. Schneider and Gradstein worked on 4 shows together, and Gradstein remembers how stressful their cooperation was. He could be generous and affirming, and it was wonderful to be in the presence of his talent and passion for making entertainment. His demands were unnecessarily high, and his control and demeaning demeanor, wow, lacked restraint or business etiquette. Does anyone remember if, what's her name? Is her name Jeanette McCurdy? Might have been, from iCarly. She quit acting altogether because her mom was apparently very awful, like very controlling. And Tiana told me the other day that Jeanette McCurdy even had like a song or a book or something called I'm Glad My Mom Died or something fucking intense like that. I'm getting off topic, but does anyone remember if she said Dan Schneider was good or bad? Because she said something about Dan Schneider, and I don't remember if it was positive or negative. Does anyone remember? Bad for sure. For some reason, I believe she said that it was something positive with Dan. I'm just going to look it up myself. Oh my god, that's Dan? Wow, this is... Whoa. That is absolutely someone that would have turned up to like a Chris Hansen investigation. This is... Who is this? Oh, this isn't Dan. Wait, what? Who is this? Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, he looks like Dan in a disguise. Oh, shit. It is Dan? Oh, fuck. I'm just going to double check myself. It can be remembered that in 2013, she shared a Vine video addressed to Schneider, which some say was a cry for help. McCurdy ended that post with, "Look what you've done to me. Look what you've done to me." I don't remember that. In 2014, and what other things was a rebuke, she and Cosgrove did not attend the 2014 Kids' Choice Awards when Schneider was the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2019, she opened up about her eating disorder, which started when she was 11. There are no direct statements towards Schneider's role in any of the issues, so fans continued to speculate. So did she not? I thought for sure she said something about Dan, and I really felt like she said something positive about him.
The first season was a little more typical to any sitcom, coming up with catchphrases and basic plot lines. Luckily, the show got much better after season 1. They consistently got themselves in ridiculous situations and had to either work together or against.
Man, I remember like all of this shit. They came
up with a master plan to sell Gary Coleman grills, which got them in jail, versus when they were fighting each other over a foam finger. In the beginning, it
where's
was
the
very common that
GameCube?
Josh was the butt of the joke. I mean, it's very easy to pick on the overweight, goofy kid. Drake, on the other hand, would often be
was it, the
lazy,
Hypercube? Not the
rude, and
GameCube. That was
self-centered.
real.
He wouldn't stand up for his brother Josh.
Games atmosphere,
hang out with
thanks.
girls and friends. His character remained the inconsiderate troublemaker, but now Josh was having more luck with girls.
I didn't
He was less
remember him
nerdy
getting
and
so
became
old
more
in the
competitive
show.
with Drake. Ultimately, at the end of every episode, they resolved their differences and concluded with a happy moment. These two just understood each other when it came to performing. Drake and Josh were the new age Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, Abbott and Costello, Martin and Lewis, Cheech and Chong, Keenan and Kel. They were so good it made us all believe that they were best friends beyond the screen, who had no way of showing Drake and Josh how much they loved the show. A lot of us forget that in
Twitter.
2005 there was barely any social media, no smartphones, no YouTube, no live
What a
streams, no follower
shithole.
counts. They worked a 9 to 5 while other kids went to school, and they went home to their families every day just like anyone else. These two just did what most normal teens do: go to parties, hang out with girls, maybe get in some trouble. Well, at least Drake did. Josh wasn't partying much. Josh was actually going through some really tough times. Josh Peck was raised by a single mother. He actually never met his father. He was always interested in being an entertainer, doing stand-up comedy at the age of 9 years old because anything athletic was
Holy
definitely
shit.
out of the question. However, he always wanted to fit in. Being an
The confidence to do stand-up comedy in general is outrageous. I can't even imagine as a kid. Well, actually, it might be easier as a kid, because what asshole's gonna start heckling a kid? You get a 9-year-old up on stage at the Laugh Factory. I don't think you're gonna have like some guy booing and throwing cocktails at him or anything. So maybe that really helped with confidence. I don't know. But stand-up comedy's got to be like one of the scariest things to do for a human being. To put yourself up there and just potentially bomb in front of that many people has to be the most embarrassing feeling ever. I couldn't imagine that shit. Especially not as like a kid.
He was known as the fat, funny punching bag, who brought way more comedic value to the scene. When we watch these old episodes, we feel happy. Josh sees an underappreciated, depressed, overweight, and insecure child.
Oh man, is that a... I do this all the fucking time. I point at the computer screen as if you guys can see what the fuck I'm pointing at. This is from that movie where he's on that boat and he just starts like insulting that kid, right? And he's like, your dad sucks. Your dad's a real piece of shit. Your dad's dead. Your dad's fucking awful. I fucking hate you. Your dad's awful. Yeah, Mean Creek. That clip was iconic. Yeah, and he even drops a slur. That shit was crazy. I remember seeing that when I was younger. I was like, oh my god, what episode of Drake and Josh was this? Oh, gee, good lord, was that the season finale? Yeah, I've never seen Mean Creek. I've only ever seen that clip, and I don't even want to see the whole movie now. It just went so hard.
Stamos.
Hey,
He became one of the
John
most popular
Stamos.
creators on Vine, which is where he would eventually meet David Dobrik, the Paul brothers, the Vlog
Oh,
Squad, and become a
wow.
popular influencer on YouTube with millions of subscribers.
He is
Drake
big on
hung around
YouTube.
Nickelodeon a little longer. He did star in a terrible, super bad remake movie called College, as well as a poorly received spoof comedy superhero movie.
Wait a minute, wait, what is that one?
A
College?
remake movie called College.
I love shitty movies. I've never even heard of this. From the guys that brought you Waiting. That movie's a classic. How did they fuck this up? Has anyone seen this? Is it really bad? Yeah, it's awful. It's so bad. Is it fun bad or boring bad? Because bad comedies are usually not really fun bad. Is this really boring? Just boring bad? Oh, that's disappointing. 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, that makes me want to watch it. I just hate boring bad. Boring bad's a waste of time.
We thought Drake would be the best man. Turns out, he didn't even know about the wedding.
Thanks,
The
Reese
story
Devin.
blew up bigger than Drake could imagine. Thankfully, a couple months later, they made up and did some YouTube content together.
Back together again. We're all good.
Then they both spent the next year.
Wow, that seemed so fake.
They made up and did some YouTube content together.
Back together again. We're all good.
Oh, that's just painful. Oh, that just hurts to like hear. Ooh, man, these are two dudes that really just do not like each other. Holy shit. I think Josh Peck is probably like a pretty nice guy, but there's something about him. Every video I've ever seen of him, like it's his eyes. They tell me like there's some like evil in there. Like there's some like deep-rooted malice in that soul. And I don't know why I get that impression, but like when he smiles, like his eyes don't. You know what I mean? It's just I just get like this really weird sensation when I like see him do like smiles or like really happy stuff. Again, I'm sure that he's like a nice guy and like a genuinely wholesome person. But I'd be lying if I said I just didn't get that like tingle in my sack that tells me this might be the devil. Might be like the devil in disguise or some shit.
We're together. What else do you want? What's happening, everybody?
In 2019, Josh came up with the idea to do a reboot of their classic show. The name of the reboot, Josh and Drake.
Oh,
He reached out to Drake to read
uh-oh.
the script. Things got weird. The
Uh-oh.
idea was that Drake was going to be a failed musician and Josh was a successful real estate agent. They were basically parodying
What?
Drake's real life as a musician in Mexico, while Josh's character was a totally made-up life. Maybe they were trying to get back at Drake.
That's so fucked up. Wait, that's like genuinely fucked.
The opening line in the very first episode was supposed to be, "Hug yourself, kid," instead of their trademark saying,
what?
"Hug me, brother," which would have just been a slap in the face to the fandom.
What? This can't be real. This can't be real. Bro, how much does Josh hate Drake? Oh my. There's no way that's real. So the whole show is basically Josh just fucking Gangnam styling on the corpse of Drake's career. You did sense the evil after all. I've always said that. I have always believed that. There is some kind of demon living in there. This was 100% real. I just don't believe that. Like, that first line is so goofily evil. Like, comically, like, cartoonishly villainous. I just don't think that's right. And I don't think the concept of the show is ever Drake is a failed musician and I'm a super Giga Chad successful guy. I just really don't think so. It seems really made up. But maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know.
Then it transitions to Drake in Mexico performing at a quinceañera for the daughter of a drug cartel leader, where they are all drinking and doing hard drugs, which leads to a gunfight, and then they don't want to give Drake his money, which is all a super stereotypical way that Americans convey Mexican culture in Hollywood.
Fucking way.
Drake didn't want to do the Drake and Josh reboot without making some creative changes, because he didn't want to disrespect his Mexican fans. Josh wouldn't let Drake make those creative changes, and shortly after that, Drake started getting into his legal trouble.
There's no way. There's just no way. Hold on, I gotta look that up. This doesn't sound like a Drake and Josh reboot at all. This sounds like Josh tried to direct like the next John Wick, but also by shitting on Drake and making fun of him to his face. Oh, here we go. They also spilled details about the previously teased, now scrapped Drake and Josh revival series written by Josh himself that reportedly included offensive stereotypes about Mexican people. Is popbuzz.com. Okay, probably not reliable. But apparently this comes from a podcast interview, and it's Drake telling the story, so it also could just be made up. I would need to see the script. I have to. There's no fucking way Josh wrote some shit like that. No one would write shit like that. The pilot's script's opening scene is said to have included a fan reciting the iconic "Hug me, brother" line to Josh, who then replies, "Hug yourself, fuckhead." Nah, man, this isn't real. I'm sure there was like an attempt to bring back Drake and Josh at some level, but not like this, I don't think. Reading the script from an email on her phone. Her father, Enrique, the head of the cartel, sits in the middle of the party at a table surrounded by guards and beautiful women. Think Escobar, Chapo. Drake is on stage, backed by a mariachi band. People drink copious amounts of alcohol and ingest other illicit substances. I mean, she read it from an email on her phone. I wish she just dropped the script. Like, just post it. And then prove to me it's Josh that wrote it. This is fucking wild.
However, he only admitted guilt of sending text messages that were sexual and then stopped once he was aware of the victim's age. The situation is definitely creepy. And there are a lot of other factors really to consider which have been broken down extensively on YouTube. But that
trial spawned a pretty wacky meme.
People fall in...
I showed this meme before. Anyone remember this? Since it was so public on Zoom, people got to run wild with the memes.
You want to hear this afternoon?
It's pretty good. I'm not a big meme guy. This shit had me giggling.
Are you guys, like, not friends?
Not really, no.
He told a number of different lies on these podcasts that are starting to make fans question everything.
I knew that Drake and I didn't stay in touch for the 10 years since we had made the show, but no one needed to know that.
Here they are in 2012 at what appears to be a house party. Here they are spending Christmas together in 2013. Here are multiple instances of them hanging out in 2014. In 2015, they had Drake come on Josh's show Grandfathered.
I think it's just
what a weird thing to lie about.
Working together again, and obviously we love each other.
Plus, Drake says that they talked when Josh announced that he was engaged. To suggest that they at least didn't stay in touch is wild.
He was surprised he wasn't invited then? If he's going bananas on you?
He's surprised, but then he takes to the internet and he starts writing these tweets that immediately like catch fire. I was at the Video Music Awards and I see him there and he sees me and I go up to him like, and this might be the most Sopranos thing I've ever done. And I look at him and I go apologize to my wife. right now.
Josh
No, you
literally filmed himself walking up to Drake. Does this look like how a gangster moves?
And is that the last communication?
No, that's pretty intense. That's pretty cool.
Much.
The VMAs was in August of 2017. Since then, they have filmed multiple YouTube videos together, worked on a Drake and Josh reboot, and I can only imagine they spent time together in their personal lives as well. That is not even close to the last time that they've had communication. Drake just recently started a podcast called Drake and Janet, with the same branding, which is just kind of weird, bro. Like, let it go. Drake still
No,
says
it's like the best
nothing
thing in
but
his
good
life.
things
Let
about
it
Josh,
ride.
And who could have ever guessed that their real life situation would turn out exactly like the episode Josh has done?
Come on, dude, I said I was sorry.
Yeah, I heard you.
Oh, I remember this episode.
I'm not mad at you. I'm done.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Josh! What? Look, I'm sorry. Well, look, let me finish, okay? I was wrong, okay? I was wrong.
What a throwback.
What do you mean?
I need you more than you need me. I need you way more than you need me, all right? I'm sorry. I just need you to understand that. Sorry, Josh. I'm sorry.
Fuck, what a powerful ending. Damn. Good lord. Yeah, what a wild rabbit hole. Exit Prime. Infernoc. That was depressing. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing Drake can do to, like, reconcile. He literally pled guilty to some absolutely heinous shit. But I think Josh also isn't the greatest of people, to be fair. It doesn't seem like he's done anything, like, questionable, criminal, or anything like that, but the dude just seems to can be kind of like a liar and a little unhinged with that Josh and Drake script. Watch the Rob video from the last dude. Oh yeah, I saw that underneath there. How Rob Dyrdek controlled MTV for 15 years. They were desperate. Rob Dyrdek was a god. I mean, still kind of is. Rob Dyrdek is almost solely responsible for, oh god, what the fuck? Robin Big, Fantasy Factory, okay, yeah. And Ridiculousness, okay. Yeah, fuck it, we'll watch this one too. Patrick CC slaps.
Rob Dyrdek was a professional
His channel's great.
skateboarder
I'm familiar with
turned
his
TV
channel.
star that has had control over MTV
I remember he
for
did
the past
the
15 years.
Fiverr video as well not too long
60%
ago.
of the billion-dollar network is his show Ridiculousness, which sometimes is the only show they air for multiple days without a break. However, this is not by some sort of dumb luck. He made some sleek business moves that made MTV depend on him for years. Once he realized they were at his mercy, he rinsed them for millions and used their platform to become the soon-to-be billionaire we know today.
Wait, Rob Dyrdek is almost a billionaire?
Hoping to one day go pro and somehow make a career of it. In 1990, 16-year-old Rob Dyrdek witnessed his friends Chris Carter, Mike Hall, and Jimmy George invest $26,000 into creating Alien Workshop, a local skate brand that would put Ohio skaters on the map. He watched them build the company from the ground up. At the end of the 11th grade in 1991, Rob decided to skip his senior year and move to California to pursue a skating career after Alien Workshop offered him a $1,000 per month salary to be on the team. While he was out there, he represented Alien Workshop to give more presence to the brand in the
Back then, that was probably huge though, actually.
Although Rob was dead, in 1995 he got sponsored by a company called Drawers Clothing, which would later become the iconic DC. Back then, skaters had Nikes and comfortable athletic shoes to do everything.
DC didn't start as DC? Bro, I used to love DC shit. Back when I still liked outdoor activities. I had no clue. What the fuck is Drawers? I had no idea. I thought DC literally just started from the ground up on like a skater's back or something. Like some dude just pulled himself up. He's like, I'm gonna make this company. And then made something that slapped.
It was also around the late 90s and early 2000s where Rob created this image of flexing, luxury, and kind of living like a rapper, but for skating. Where skating at the time was this hesh, counterculture, and almost modest lifestyle. Like most skaters didn't have a brand. Their brand was, I'm a rad skater and that's it. Majority of the skate community thought Rob was a pompous prick, but he leaned in even more. December 2000, the cover of Big Brother magazine had Rob...
What the fuck? What is Big Brother magazine? I've also never heard of that, but man, what a magazine cover. Wow. Is that a real cheetah? Because that shit is looking goofy. I feel like that has to be like CGI'd or something. Do cheetahs look that silly?
2000 to 2002, Rob was at the peak of his skateboarding career. He was 27 years old, already pretty rich, and focusing hard on competitions and video parts to keep his relevance so he could sell more shoes.
Very
2002 is where he met Christopher Big Black Boykin, which would change his life forever. The reactions of security guards were hilarious because they would come out ready to fight and bully Rob. Then when Big pulled up, they got all soft and scared. They created a genius gimmick that really resonated with the skate community because everyone could relate to it. It also helped that Big Black was a funny, charismatic guy that had a lot of chemistry with Rob. Rob and Big Season 1, Episode 1 launches November 2nd, 2006 and takes off immediately. Each episode
came out in
premiered
06?
to
I thought it was earlier than
million
that.
viewers. The two unlikely best friends were funny, full of energy, and really just so lovable. When you watched it, you just understood. Rob would come up with the most random ideas for skits, and Big would go along with whatever, like buying a mini horse so their dog has a friend, or starting an R&B group, or trying to time travel. The chemistry and bond created on TV was almost like you were a part of their family. Rob was working 24/7, writing ideas for the show, and guiding the production, where Big admits that he just showed up, brought the funny, and left. We're not sure what the facts are, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rob was being paid more. On top of that, he was very unhealthy at 430 pounds. Him and Rob were constantly disagreeing on creative ideas, which led to multiple blowout arguments, and he had a new baby on the way. Big decided he was done with Hollywood after season 3. He moved to Texas with his family, got his eating habits and mental health right, and reaped the rewards of his hard work. Him and Rob's downfall was relatively private. Rob never disrespected him publicly, but they didn't communicate with each other for a few years.
How does that always happen?
Ready to give up.
I'll never understand how that shit goes down. Like, let's say, okay, for example, let's say Matt and I had a successful reality TV show, and then one of us is like, bro, I'm just fucking done. After making millions of dollars, I don't know how you're like, all right, well, fuck you then, buddy. I never want to see you again. I don't know how that happens. I guess I don't get it, but I've also never seen that level of money before. I don't know. It just seems like incomprehensible to me. I feel like they probably weren't ever that close a friend then. That's true. I guess they weren't like childhood friends. Well, okay, even someone like Danny. I met Danny only, what, 3 years ago now? Let's say Danny and I had a successful TV show, and Danny's like, hey, Charlie, you fucking suck, and I quit. It's like, ah, man, that hurts. I'll see you tomorrow for PDQ. Like, I don't know. I don't see how money splits up like an actual friendship like that when you're already set for life off the millions you've made together. It's just not fun anymore. No, I'm saying I don't know how that ruins a relationship. They've both already made multiple millions upon millions of dollars. I just don't see like why they'd hate each other afterwards. That's what I'm saying. I understand why they wouldn't, or why Big wouldn't want to do the show anymore. I'm just saying I don't understand like how a relationship gets split like that. But it happens all the time. Literally all the time. In every field. Forced to spend too much time with each other. Yeah, I guess maybe they just got tired of being around each other. Having to film 13 hours a day or whatever would be super draining to anyone.
Meanwhile, he was making additional deals on the side with these brands for his own companies like Street League, Wild Grinders, and other new ventures. For example, I'm sure some of y'all remember this episode where he dresses up as the Carl's Jr. mascot and does stunts around the factory. This is literally a giant ad, but you might also remember that Rob wanted to open legal skate parks around the country. Safe Spot, Skate Spot is what he called them. At the first one, a giant Carl's Jr. star that kids would skate on. This is an example of how Rob would go to a corporate sponsor and say, hey, we'll do this integration on MTV for you, but I also want you to contribute to my personal project. So Carl's Jr. paid for the construction of the skate park. Then he did basically the same exact deal on another park with 7-Eleven. You can see now how Rob was developing a lot of control over MTV because he took it upon himself to go the extra mile to set the a lot of control.
That photoshopping job is wild. Nice. That's good. That's looking good.
House. And Fantasy Factory was just a commercial for all of his new businesses.
So smart. So
February
fucking
8th,
smart.
Fantasy Factory Season 1, Episode 1. And as expected, it was a hit. Millions of viewers, not to the level of Rob and Big. The fans definitely missed him, but Rob knew just the thing that would keep people interested. Stunts and celebrities. Rob became a stuntman to fill the void of not having Big's comedic presence. Drama, his cousin, wasn't cutting it. And who doesn't love a good celebrity cameo? Johnny Knoxville, Lamar Odom, Justin Bieber, Carmelo Anthony, Ludacris were among some of the people who came to the factory. There are so many businesses that Rob started or promoted on the show. Helped get off the ground. In 2011, Big Black makes his debut appearance on the Fantasy Factory. The beef was squashed and the duo were together again. It continued the vibe of the Rob and Big days, but now they had a playground and more money. Ratings doubled when Big came back. It was like a whole new show. Speaking of whole new show, Ridiculousness premieres August of 2011 to 3 million viewers. The biggest episode they ever had. It was essentially America's Funniest Home Videos, but Rob's version to make. There have been a few different numbers thrown out there, but it seems like $140,000 per episode is accurate. They filmed Fantasy Factory for 2 more years. 3 seasons, where the ratings were still great. Rob wanted to end the show with a bang. The end of season 6 included him breaking the world record for the longest jump in a car while going backwards, which was the second massive Chevy sponsor deal he orchestrated. The first one was kickflipping a Chevy car. The last episode, which was the 65th episode, was a 1-hour special. It was epic and the perfect way to end the series. Ridiculousness was about to enter the last contractual season, which at that point was the 95th episode. Rob wanted to...
They did 95 episodes in 3 seasons? No fucking shot. What? Wait, was that fantasy? Oh, wait. Oh my god. I might have just, like, brain rotted. Was that Ridiculousness or Fantasy Factory? Ridiculousness. Okay, that I believe. I thought that was Fantasy Factory he was talking about. I was gonna say, there's no fucking chance they got 95 episodes like that. No way. But here, I'll double check anyway. Oh, I just spoiled it. There's 7 seasons of this. 73 episodes. This is before streaming, TV, and cable were everything. Man, you fucking swine. This isn't before streaming. Justin TV existed right here. Well, actually, right here. This glorious era of 09, 2010. And you know who was on Justin TV? Your fucking boy. Playing Luigi's Mansion. And Paper Mario. And World at War Zombies. Streaming at a crisp 140p, baby. In fact, let me show you what that looked like. Yeah, you want to see what streaming used to look like? This is real streaming. Yeah, baby. God damn, what a throwback. Back in these days on Justin TV, they also had a 24-hour Angry Video Game Nerd rerun channel. They had 4-player podcast. I think Soda Poppin' was on there too at some point. Is there sound? Yeah, there is, but it's like ear-piercingly, like, distorted.
2 seconds!
Like, it actually just doesn't sound pleasant at all. It's easier to watch than it is to listen to. I was using a Logitech Best Buy prototype kind of thing and recording with Windows Sound Recorder. Mm-hmm. This is what streaming used to be, baby. And it was amazing. Can you believe that this website, Justin TV, got bought for, what was it, $970 million?
This deal also included that Rob's production company, Super Jacket, would be producing Ridiculousness and the final season of Fantasy Factory. So now, MTV wasn't even producing the content, not filming, not editing. It was all Rob's businesses that he owned. We can also assume that because he was producing the show, that his company now received a % ownership of the show. Like, he isn't just an actor anymore, he's getting those royalties, baby. Literally, MTV was like YouTube to Rob. Here's my show. Upload it. He got through the last season of Fantasy Factory despite not wanting to do it. Ratings were kind of low, but the show
Actual
was
ruthless businessman.
Unfortunately, 2 years later, we got the sad news that Christopher Big Black Boykin had passed away at age 45 of a heart attack in Plano, Texas. He is survived by a now 14-year-old daughter. Rest in peace, Big Black. Now, so he sets up for another renewal. And of course, MTV is going to take it because TV is at an all-time low and MTV is going down with it. 250 more episodes.
Jesus Christ!
Basically just a talent show, which was very unsuccessful after just 7 episodes. Besides the TV show, Rob is a recluse now. He doesn't party with celebrities. He isn't doing commercials or brand deals. He's a full-blown entrepreneur building the Deer Deck Machine, which is his company that builds other businesses with the goal of selling them.
The Deer Deck Machine is a venture creation studio.
Hey, thanks for another 5 gift subs, Modoc. Jesus, man, thank you.
Creates businesses by systematically fusing art, science, and magic.
He's now growing.
Literally all of that is buzzwords that mean nothing. So what do you do? What is the company? Does anyone know?
He sold his production company, Super Jacket, who had been producing Ridiculousness and a number of other shows for the past 7 years.
Whoa, wait, what? He did Dude Perfect show? I thought Dude Perfect had their own production company. Was it just the Nickelodeon one? Well, that's pretty big, actually. Thanks to Prime Wubby and the bits Cheyenne, Toodle, and Tier 1 Samurai. So it was just the Nickelodeon one?
MTV wasn't a partner or an
chief.
investor in any of his businesses that he promoted and grew on their platform, but Rob was a part owner of the show that they put on their platform. He announced another 250 episode renewal of Ridiculousness in 2020, in which he would be fully done and ready to walk away forever. If Rob's salary of $140,000 per episode since 2011 stayed the same over the past decade, with Ridiculousness having 819 episodes, he would have earned $114,660,000 just from that show.
Okay, I think I think all of the Google estimates were off. That's a really good point. I forgot that in 2011 they were doing $140K an episode. And you know, since he had so much, like, a stranglehold on the fucking cock of MTV, that he had negotiated that price much higher. Yeah, he very well may be up in that, like, $400-ish million ballpark. Easy, I'd say. That's a great fucking point. I didn't even think about that. Not a billionaire. I still don't think he's knocking on the door to being a billionaire. That is an incomprehensible achievement. Even at his level, I feel like he's probably not even halfway to billionaire. I think he's probably in the 400 mil ballpark.
Maybe he took a lower salary once his company started producing it, since now he was getting ownership royalties, but I guess we don't know. Rob today is almost unrecognizable to the man he used to be. Now 47 years old, he's a zen, calm, collected entrepreneur who is on his way to becoming a billionaire. And it's all because he got to call the shots at a multi-billion-dollar TV network for 15 years straight.
Yeah, that is so impressive. Rob Dyrdek is really an interesting guy. I didn't realize how deep that went, though. I knew that Rob Dyrdek was pretty much MTV's cash cow for a while, but I didn't realize it was all they had, and currently all they still have. Like, I bet they're still only playing reruns of Rob Dyrdek. Let's just see, like, TV schedule. I don't even know what to type in to find what they play anymore. Ridiculous. This is airing right now. Ridiculousness, ridiculousness, ridiculousness. Oh my god. Shameless. It is literally the ridiculousness channel. Didn't MTV show music videos at one point? I mean, they used to. I mean, everyone knows they ventured way beyond that very early. I work nights and I can say that damn show is on in the break room all night long. I can't escape it. Yeah, when I go to bars and shit, which isn't often at all anymore, but when I went to bars and shit, there was only ever two things on. It was either Ridiculousness or I think it was Chive. Is that the other one? Which is just Ridiculousness, like, diet. Tosh.0 did it first. He kind of did. But I don't think people like Tosh.0 enough. Like, Tosh.0 I think was too focused on him, and a lot of people might not have liked him. Ridiculousness is super smart, where it's literally just a montage of videos that Rob Dyrdek and friends will sometimes say some stuff about with the couch. Tosh.0 would make an entire, like, stand-up routine around it. Everyone is forgetting Attack of the Show. That's because G4 fizzled out into such a sad fart back when it was on TV. G4 was an actual powerhouse for a while, but just, like, mismanagement and some bad steps along the way killed that network. They're back now, and I think they're doing better than ever, but back in the day, they killed themselves in a really sad way. And I think G4 mainly does, like, internet-focused content now. I'm not in my normal abode here, but let me put your mind at ease. It's not because I've been kidnapped, and you can tell that's the truth based on the decor here. It very clearly belongs to an elderly woman, and no octogenarian's getting the best of me. So I haven't been abducted. I'm actually in Texas doing a bunch of wild and wacky shit, and I'm sure you can also tell that my voice sounds a little odd, and it's not because it's filled with phlegm. It's actually filled with freedom, partner. Texas, you know, you just drown in that shit over here. I went to a Cavender's and got a cowboy hat, even got this one that makes it look like I'm part of the Amish Mafia. Like, I mean, it's been a crazy trip. But that's not the point of today's video. This morning, my wet dream was interrupted by thousands of messages from so many people. It was like I was getting a fucking Amber Alert, all telling me some incredibly important news. They were sounding the air raid siren, and the story I'm about to tell you is probably the biggest of the year, much bigger than Elon Musk buying Twitter. That's child's play compared to this. Compared to what I'm about to tell you, Elon Musk buying Twitter is like getting news that a kid opened a lemonade stand outside their elementary school. It's meaningless. James Corden has confirmed that he will be leaving the Late Late Show. And it's not like a prank. It's true. He's finally leaving that fucking god-awful show. And we can only pray that this is a domino effect, one of many things that he will be leaving, so that way we don't have to endure more from James Corden. This proves that there is a god out there, and if not a god, some kind of higher being that's looking out for us. This is without a shadow of a doubt the biggest news of the year. I don't care if you're the biggest coomer on the planet who lost their mind and their nut when Belle Delphine came back out of nowhere. This is much bigger than that. This is a day that will be remembered for eons to come. The day where the James Corden pariah, the plague, was finally starting to lift a bit, and we were able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. James Corden finally leaving the god-awful Late Late Show. Amen, brother. Ye fucking haw. I was so excited when I saw this. I just looked at what the camera angle looks like. It actually seems as if I've been taken hostage by terrorists. And you know what? For a while, I was taken hostage by a terrorist known as James Corden, and we've finally been set free. I know it looks like I'm in a dreamlike state right now because the camera for some reason keeps getting blurry when the sun goes out a little bit stronger, like fucking high noon out here in Texas, really like EMP's technology it seems. But yeah, James Corden is a Category 5 hurricane of misery. He's like if Ellen DeGeneres did a fusion dance with the most annoying theater kid from your high school and created the world's worst thespian, and then found Reddit. It's like he was genetically engineered over the course of millions of years of fine-tuned evolution to be the most unentertaining person imaginable. He's been ruining movies and TV shows for almost a decade now, and I say that kind of lightly because it's not like he's the one ruining the movies. He's just in the shittiest movies and is the shittiest part about the movies, like Cats, for example, where he plays, I think it's the fat cat or something, and all he does is like wiggle his belly and go, "Hey, ho, 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 ho," you know? The classic James Corden comedy. But yeah, I don't like him. Never have. I made that very clear. He even took down one of my videos I made about him, so we've got a grudge. If I was ever to box someone in like a YouTuber boxing match, it wouldn't be James Corden. He would beat my ass. But I would at least consider it longer than I would for anyone else. Listening or watching anything from James Corden is about as entertaining as watching your house burn down in front of you, and then also finding out your dogs were still inside. It's painful. I don't like him. Never have. I'm not really a fan. And it is so relieving to see him not be on the Late Late Show anymore. Not like that I'm going to watch the show now that he's not there or anything. I don't like late night shows. I think the only good ones were Conan and Craig Ferguson. Other than that, I don't really touch that shit. It's not for me. But this whole thing reminds me of a very profound profound saying that I actually read in Twitch chat last night. While I was watching a video on a Call of Duty gamer rage so hard they got kicked out of their collegiate esports program, someone dropped a nugget of wisdom. This is probably the second coming of Socrates, in fact. They said, "The same water that softens the potato boils the egg." And that's got a lot of layers to it. There's really a lot from that expression that you can digest and take from. I don't even really know what it means. But my God, does that just sound incredible. That really could have been a quote attributed to someone like Aristotle or even Da Vinci. Like, it made me stop and think, like, that is a great point. The water that softens that potato is boiling an egg. And if I was to really start to pick apart the meaning behind the statement, like for an English class here, I would have to say it means that things react differently to things. So this is something that extends everywhere, right? The same toilet that catches the pee eats the poop. The same egg that You get what I'm saying. They say the shitted pants can never be unshat, but with James Corden finally getting off of the Late Late Show, we're taking a step in the right direction to unshitting those trousers, thank God. I pray that this is just the beginning and he fully retires very soon. And while I'm just sitting here candidly talking to you by fireside, I'd like to also talk about Elon Musk buying Twitter. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I think it's fucking crazy that he actually did it. It's a wild universe we're living in here. But I don't think anything's going to like drastically change. I don't think there's a whole lot he can do to make it better, nor do I think there's a whole lot he can do to make it worse. So I'm really super indifferent on it. I just think it's absolutely crazy that he successfully bought that fucking thing. That's like spending $48 billion on a hemorrhoid. I don't know why he'd bother, but I mean, the man is terminally addicted to it, so I guess this was just one of those things where he has so much money, why not own the thing that is consuming half of his fucking life at this point? So yeah, that's why I haven't like said too much about it, just because I don't have a lot to say about it. I just think it's going to be a pretty negligible impact on the site as a whole. It's still going to be a cesspool. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe he's going to do something crazy with it and make it great, or he's going to make it worse. I couldn't tell you. I just don't really see what anyone could do to change it that much. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there as well, since I was talking about James Corden. And just incredible news all around. Today's a great day. And hopefully now with this knowledge, you can go out there and have a fucking fantastic day of your own, knowing that the world's a little bit brighter now that James Corden's got one less show that he's in. That's about it. See ya.